And I'm saying that all the leadership structures, doesn't matter if it's labor or conservative, across all of it in this nation have completely and utterly failed. Sadiq Khan is a loser because when you have a city which is losing, which London is losing in all metrics across its competitive cities around the world, and you're in charge of it, by extension, you're a loser.
Hey, what's up, folks? Before I give you my reaction to Zelensky in America, I don't know if I've ever seen Nancy Pelosi that excited. I'm going to do a live reaction video to Andrew Tate on Piers Morgan.
Because it's a failed society and it's godless. I think it's disgusting. We leave our old people to rot in old people's homes.
Piers put up 2 highlight clips on one of his Twitter channels, and I found them very interesting and worth sharing and reacting to. So that's what we're going to do today, folks. Thanks for joining. The show starts now. Hey, what's going on, folks? Appreciate you. I want to react to Zelensky in Washington hanging out with Pelosi and all of these other weirdos. But before I did that, I wanted to do a reaction video to Andrew Tate on Piers Morgan because I thought it was very interesting, share-worthy, and I know that Andrew Tate's been banned from pretty much every major platform, and they don't allow a lot of his videos to air. But since this one is I think they do air some podcasts. They allow some podcasts to air, to be fair. But I did want to show this one because I thought he kind of grilled London and Piers Morgan, and I thought it was pretty interesting, worth watching. So I'm going to react to a few clips of Andrew Tate on Piers Morgan. Let's watch.
And especially our major cities. I've just come to London now. I made it very clear to my private jet pilot. I said, fuel the jet and leave it running, because the second I'm finished talking to Piers, I'm leaving this cesspit. It's disgusting. This country and London as a whole 10 years ago was one of the most hospitable cities on earth. Now you cannot walk around safely with a watch on. And you're a full-grown man. You're a full-grown adult. When's the last time there's been a serious problem in your life that you completely ignored and it fixed itself? Never, ever. What are any of our politicians doing to fix any of the problems we're genuinely...
Well, I'm going to watch a few more. I got like 4 here, so hold on a second.
And especially our major cities. I've just come to London now. I made it very clear to my private jet pilot. I said, fuel the jet and leave it running, because the second I'm finished talking to Piers, I'm leaving.
Hold on. I think I did 2 of the same clip by mistake. Let me watch another.
This was a front page of the Sun newspaper, this
if
story.
That same man called...
Sorry.
This was a front page of the Sun newspaper, this
if
story.
That same man called a transgender person the wrong pronouns, he would be in trouble.
Right.
So doesn't it just show how absolutely asinine and banal our legal system has become? That would never happen in a country like United Arab Emirates, the place I'm now residing in, Dubai, where the leadership has common sense. And I'm saying that all the leadership structures, doesn't matter if it's labor or conservative, across all of it in this nation have completely and utterly failed. Sadiq Khan is a loser because when you have a city which is losing, which London is losing in all metrics across its competitive cities around the world, and you're in charge of it, by extension, you're a loser.
Sorry, I think I forgot one of the early clips, but for those who want a backstory, Andrew Tate was a professional kickboxer. He turned into some sort of like internet guru of some sorts to some people, made a lot of interesting, funny clips, and then he got banned from everything. And he doesn't really get that much play on mainstream media, so he went on Piers Morgan in England and said, you know, England's disgusting, London is going downhill, the leadership are completely failed, and, you know, it's so disgusting, I'm going to get on my jet and leave after this interview because I have no reason to even want to be here. And Andrew grew up in London. Here, I'm going to play 2 more clips.
I will tell you right now, instead of virtue signaling...
Sorry about this. I don't have my normal setup, so it's a little...
I will tell you right now, instead of virtue signaling and giving Qatar a hard time over their religious beliefs, what we should be doing is a treaty with Qatar to build a prison deep in the desert. Make me mayor of London. We'll make a prison deep in the desert. And if you're caught with a knife or robbing someone, you can go do 25 years with 1 meal a day in the scorching sun. And then what we'll do is we'll put cameras there and we'll interview you once a week and broadcast that out to the nation and see if you change your mind and make people understand that this is a country that should be respected and our laws should be respected. Instead, what happens? What has Sadiq or any of the people in charge of this country actually done to fix any of our issues besides sit around and talk?
So he's saying, you know, they're too weak on crime. People just can stab people and rob people, and there's no real consequences. So I'd rather, instead of virtue signaling about how bad Qatar is, why don't you do a treaty with them and build a prison in the desert? All right, I'm going to play the last clip real quick, and then I'm going to talk about Zelensky in Ukraine, or in America, but from Ukraine.
Nothing. None of them have done anything, but they seem ultra concerned with finding money for proxy wars, ultra concerned with rainbow flags in another country that is uninterested in them, and their priorities are completely messed up. Of course the ambulance people are Of course the ambulance drivers are striking. Of course the nurses are striking. Nobody cares about the most important things in this nation. It's a failing country in real time, and that's why I've left.
So say what you want about Andrew Tate. A lot of people love him. A lot of people don't. He became probably the most famous person in the world before they banned him. He's on point there, and that's pretty much why they banned him. I don't think they banned him because of his misogyny. I don't think they banned him because of his, misleading of men or whatever they're going to say. I think they banned him because if you really listen to his full podcast, there's a lot of them. Most of what he says makes sense. And although he does certain things that are funny and edgy and perhaps too far for certain people's opinion, the gist of what he's saying and the point of what he's saying is usually not wrong. And I don't think he's like another, just controlled celebrity of sorts. So, I thought it was pretty cool that Piers Morgan probably just wanted the clicks and the views, brought him on and just let, Andrew pretty much just torch London and be like, this, Western society has gotten totally pathetic. Like, I moved to Dubai. That's what he said, because they actually enforce laws and rules. I don't want to be Dubai or Qatar. I love America, but we are getting too weak. Whether you agree with his solution or not, I think his identifying the problem is true. And, this next story just shows how far we've fallen as well. So I want to play just a few things before I explain why I'm upset. And I don't really get upset that often. I'm not going to cry about it. Life is good, even though the stocks are tumbling and our country is like imploding, inflation's rising. I try to have an optimistic view and enjoy the holiday times and make the most of it. But this was, and I don't like to use the word infuriating because I try to just stay calm and not get angry. But one of the most disgusting things I've seen all week, besides this whole little Ukraine Zelensky brigade in Washington, was these Ukrainian officials repainting the American flag and turning it into the Ukraine flag. I don't care if it's our allies in Germany or US or Canada or Mexico or whoever our allies are. It's just disgusting to just destroy our flag and turn it into your flag. I would never do that to Ukraine. I would never do that to any of our allies. So the fact that these people, these government officials in Ukraine, just feel so emboldened to just I don't even know if sacrilege is the right word, but to blaspheme our flag and turn it into theirs, and the fact that we're celebrating, waving it around, like, this is just disgusting to me. I want to show you a few things. So that's I don't know who this guy is, a Ukrainian government official. He's just taking his flag and just turning the American flag into like a Ukrainian flag. I mean, that's so disrespectful. That's so blasphemous. That's just, I haven't seen like Kamala Harris that happy, and they're just so happy, just drawing or putting signatures all over the Ukrainian flag, waving it in Congress. I want to show you just another picture. No worries though. Dow just keeps dropping. Interest rates are imploding. Inflation's rising. I mean, they destroyed our economy. But look at that. I mean, that is disgusting to me. I can't stand that. Sergey, whoever, he literally repaints the American flag and turns it into the Ukrainian flag. It's absolutely disgusting. I don't care how great of an ally we are. I don't care if we're giving you billions of dollars. I don't care if we're fighting the same war. I don't care if we're liberating you. I don't care if you're liberating us. We have our flag. You have your flag, okay? People are allowed to put a Ukraine flag on their house or in their bio. I don't have to like it, but it is what it is. If you're Ukrainian, I get it. If you didn't know where Ukraine was on a map 7 months ago, it's a little weird. It seems like you're just kind of brainwashed, but maybe you just love it all of a sudden. Whatever. I don't care, but that's your flag. Our flag is red and white and blue, okay? So let's not play that game, because that just makes me despise what's going on 20 times more. Just destroying our flag and turning it into your flag. It's really symbolic. I don't know how much money they gave to Ukraine, like $100 billion now. They're about to sign a omnibus bill. I've posted on it, but I haven't been doing videos that much. I try to, hunker down a little bit for the holidays and take a rare break. But, the omnibus bill, I think it's over 4,000 pages long. It's not even possible to read. It's $1.7 trillion. The Republicans are in on it. The Democrats are in on it. This is what I've been trying to tell people. And I understand that the left has fallen far. I understand that they're destroying academia, comedy. Like, I get it. But just simply making fun of left wingers isn't going to cut it, because our party's sold out too. And for years, I've been trying to explain in the nicest way possible, or try to be convincing or intriguing of some sort, where it's like, if you really get to the bottom of communism and Karl Marx and, I would say big government overhaul, if you read the Communist Manifesto, he wants a graduated and progressive income tax because he understands if you could just start sucking money out of workers and giving it to the government, eventually communism will manifest itself. So when he wrote the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx, there was no income tax in America. I don't even think there was a 1% income tax, a 2% income tax. So you have to understand, income tax isn't normal. Income tax wasn't forever. Income tax is one of the biggest scams in modern history. If you make $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $50 an hour, $500 an hour, I don't care, but let's start small, $10 an hour. Do you really think you should be giving 12 or 15%, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, of your money to the government? You think the government needs your money? They print trillions of dollars. They give big pharma $20 billion. They shut down schools. They send $100 billion to Ukraine. They send a couple $1 billion to Israel every year. They're funding Pakistan gender equality studies. You think they need your money if you're getting 10 or 15 or $20 an hour? You think the government needs to steal 15% a year or 20% of your? I mean, income tax is one of the biggest scams in modern history, and it's not forever. It's not like every government ever always did income tax. When Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto, there was no income tax. So when I tell people that the Republican Party is a socialist party, people are like, no way, no, they're not. It's only the Democrats. You think that because it's gone so far, the Overton window has gone so far that what you think is moderate and what you think is Republican is so far left that Karl Marx would be creaming his pants if he knew what was happening in America. Because when he wrote that book, the Communist Manifesto, there was no income tax. So if you told Karl Marx, well, Democrats tax 5% on income and Republicans tax 3%, he probably would have been happy with that. 5%, 10%, 12%. Forget about 40%, 35%. You hit the lottery, they take 40, 50%. I mean, we're getting just absolutely scammed with taxes in this country. And the reason that I'm going on this little rant about taxes right now is because if you don't understand fundamentally what's going on, it doesn't matter if Donald Trump's there selling vaccines for Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. It's all a show. He's a clown. He's a circus actor just making you feel like somebody's going to take your country back when they're not even trying. The gist of what's going on is every year, whether Donald Trump is there, whether Joe Biden's there, whether Barack Obama's there, whether George Bush is there, whether Ted Cruz is there, whether anybody's there, okay, including Donald Trump, they signed something called an omnibus bill, which is like a $2 trillion bill or a $50 billion. I mean, it varies from year to year, but now that after COVID, they're just going absolutely insane with the printing, which, by the way, is why inflation's hitting, guys. It's not just Putin and it's not just Biden and it's not just Trump. It's all of them. They're all in on it. Nobody cares. They're all printing too much money and it's all a show. Okay, but if left fights with right and if all the right-wing influencers fight with the left-wingers and laugh at her and laugh at him, nobody ever cares. And the point that I'm trying to get to is every year, whether Trump or Biden is there, they put together this crazy bill around Christmas time when everybody's busy, that nobody can read, that nobody has time to do anything about it. And both parties pass it. And God knows what's in that bill. We're sending our money all over the place. So, Zelensky, I'm not saying he's a blessing because I think he's not. He's a curse. But the blessing in disguise with Zelensky is like the blessing in disguise with Kanye or Ye, where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that was all said publicly. It's like, well, yeah, that was kind of crazy, but things have been going on behind the scenes for a while. And now it's just getting so ridiculous and in your face that it's on display. And at least you can think about it rather than have it like lurking in the shadows. Same thing with Zelensky, like him coming to Washington, although it's disgusting, like that's not the most disgusting thing. Every year they waste trillions of dollars. So I think it's probably like a world welfare tour. He knows this is the time they're about to sign a $1 trillion bill. So he comes to Washington like a political prostitute, like marching around, waving flags. It's like, yeah, you're about to print $1.7 trillion, $2 trillion. Give me a couple billion, give me 100 billion, give me 50 billion. It's such a disgusting joke, but, not to kind of go back and forth between ideas, but that is what I'm doing. With income tax, if you really want to stop government corruption and drain the swamp, you can't be taxing 35%, 40%. It's draining the working class, whether it's 10% or 30% or $100,000 salary or $500,000. It's draining money from working people and giving it to the federal government. And then they could give it to Zelensky, and then they could give it to their contractor friends, and then they could give it to Big Pharma. And I don't think a single Republican, besides maybe Rand Paul, possibly Thomas Massey, definitely, maybe a few others that are rising the ranks, like these new age conservatives, none of these people care. That's why they don't care when you fight the left wing. They don't care when left wingers fight right wingers. They don't care when left wingers get brainwashed into, oh, I need to wear a mask for 15 years. And then the Washington Post has the nerve to put out yesterday, I believe, or within this week, they put out this article that says a new study shows that exercising protects you more against the coronavirus, like serious injuries or whatever it was. I don't want to click because I don't have the right capability right here. I don't want my screen to freeze. But Washington Post, literally after years of censoring my videos, after years of taking tens of thousands of dollars away from my income on social media, on Facebook, and demonetizing me and taking away my stuff with no customer service, these absolute devils, these absolute scumbags. You might have the power, you might have the money, you might have the control, but you don't live a fulfilling life because you guys are walking demons. You're miserable. So drink your wine, write your Huffington Post blogs, and live an unfulfilling, treacherous life where only you and your scummy friends in big tech think you're cool. Everybody else thinks you're a demon because you are. And I hope you feel it in your soul when I say it. But anyway, long story short, after years of them covering this stuff up, now all of a sudden, after Big Pharma got all their money, after the PrEP Act shielded them from liability, after Pfizer made a cash cow, 2 years of, oh, if you go to the doctor, they're like, well, just rest and take vitamin D after they told you couldn't talk about vitamin D. Now, when you go to the doctor, Paxlovid, who owns, or Paxlovid, who owns Paxlovid? Oh, Pfizer. All of a sudden, there is a cure when Pfizer's got one. Great. Okay, awesome. Yeah, sure. But in general, they're writing articles now saying that exercise helps you fight the virus. Well, what do you scumbags think happened when you shut down gyms and beaches and sports and children's school and recess and childhood sports and, shut down society and left poor and middle class people? They didn't have a hot tub like Arnold Schwarzenegger. They didn't have access to anything and it was cold. What do you think happened to people? You killed people, okay? I want excuse me, I'm sorry to get upset, but every tech liberal, every person who censored all this stuff, now you're admitting exercise. You killed people. You guys are mass murderers. You committed crimes against humanity, okay? You guys killed millions of people. What do you think when you lock people inside, suicides go up, overdoses go up, childhood abuse goes up, domestic abuse goes up, and now years later, you're admitting that obese people are the most at risk, and now Washington Post has the nerve to say new study that exercise protects you. So what do you think happened when you took away exercise from everybody? You guys are mass murderers. You committed crimes against humanity. I hope you live an unfulfilling life. I hope you find God, honestly, and come to the Lord. But if not, I hope you suffer until you do what's right, because, I don't want to hurt people, but the one thing I can't stand are bullies. I don't care left-wing, right-wing media, the fact that you bully people into slavery and child abuse and just getting obese and just pilled out on pharmacy products, and now you're like, oh, actually exercise does help you, and we took away exercise. Oops, I guess we killed people. Yeah, I guess you did, you mass murder scumbags. Yeah, but you have $100 billion to send to Ukraine, waving his flag. Our country is conquered. We have a conquered, pathetic country, and Trump's not going to do anything about it. And Republicans aren't going to do anything about it. And I'm not trying to be a doomer and a gloomer, but people got to wake up, And when I say the Republican Party is a socialist party, people are like, no, they're not. Yes, they are. If they're taxing you 35%, Karl Marx, when he wrote the Communist Manifesto, there was a 0% income tax. If he could have got a 10% income tax for the rich, he would have been creaming his pants. He would have been like, oh my God, here's communism. It's coming, because it's slowly sucking away money to the government. Now, if you get in the, God forbid, you work for 15 years like me, 10 years like me, bust your ass, have no money, never had a credit card, never went in debt, just work my ass off. You know what I'm saying? Now they're trying to take 35%, 36% running a small business. It's like we're getting scammed, folks, and all that money they're sucking out of us, that goes to the government. Do you want to know why Donald Trump didn't drain the swamp? Well, one, he hired the swamp. He hired a bunch of pharmacy lobbyists and deep staters, and he's completely unapologetic about it. But also, you got to, they're metaphorically cut off the snake's head, or metaphorically, grab a tree out by the roots. You can't just, slap out the leaves. The root of it is the omnibus bill every year. The root of it is all the foreign aid every year. And the root of it is income tax. So if you really want to drain the swamp, stop stealing our money so they give it to Zelensky And then you got like government operatives running this, probably working at, but working with, to be politically correct, working with the social media companies to punish and persecute American citizens for disagreeing with it. It's like, we're going to take 35% of your money. We're going to steal your money. We're going to just lock you in your house. We're going to make you fatter. We're going to give all the money to Big Pharma. We're only going to admit exercise is good a couple years later. We're just going to absolutely enslave you and rob you and steal from you and send it to a foreign country. And then, God forbid, if you're smart enough to say that it's the wrong thing to do, then we're going to use our ties as social media companies to persecute you. You think the Twitter files are bad? God knows that if they ever release the Facebook files, I'm on it, because I have almost 1 billion views on Facebook. I have 1.7 million followers, or 1.6 million followers. And as soon as they realized that I was getting so much reach, they shut my page down, put out an NPR smear article calling me a conspiracy theorist because I shared a CNN article about J&J, and then Chelsea Clinton tweets it spontaneously the next day. Oh yeah, I'm sure that wasn't a coordinated, effort to try to smear my character. Luckily, it failed because nobody likes NPR except for like hipsters with a stick up their ass. But in general, what is going on in this country? And we'll see, but I can't take these Democrats or Republicans that are waving this Ukrainian flag, literally blaspheming the American flag and turning it into a Ukrainian flag, sucking our money out. And then they have the nerve to call us names if we disagree with it. Like, I'm tired of being robbed by these people. And Zelensky is the biggest psyop in modern history. And here's the crazy part. In 50 years, they're going to teach your kids in school that Zelensky was a hero and that Putin was a villain, and that anybody who disagreed is a villain. And, maybe they'll even pass speech laws in Germany that say it's illegal. It's illegal to question World War III. I mean, this is the narrative. And if you disagree, you're a conspiracy theorist who needs to go to jail or get fined in England. They're probably going to pass laws that say you can't even disagree with Zelensky. In reality, Zelensky's an actor, producer / comedian who aired a show about him being a normal guy running for president for multiple years on a network by some guy named Kolomoisky, who apparently is so corrupt that he's in some massive lawsuit with a bank, and he got banned from the United States. The United States isn't even an ethical country. How bad of a person do you have to be to get banned from the United States? I mean, that's saying something. That's how Zelensky even got into power. He's a producer and an actor who wrote a script that made him look like the president, put it on this guy's network who's now banned from the United States for a bunch of scams, told the Ukrainian people he was this average everyday teacher running for president, brainwashed the public as an actor producer who wrote his own show and produced it, and then his production studio turned into his government. The production studio, Kvartal 95, turned into his government. The political party was the same one run by the show, the same name as the show. It's like when they tried to do those shows in America where it's like, female president show. They're trying to psyop you into a Hillary Clinton presidency, like female president, female president, female president, female president. So then you go to the polls, remembering what you saw on television. Oh, I want the female president because I just saw the new CBS show or whatever. This is what they did times 50. It was the greatest. I mean, I got to give them credit. It's the greatest psyop ever. An actor, producer, comedian wrote a script with the production studio about him being president. Then he becomes president and his production studio doubles as his government. This is insane. And then if you look on Wikipedia, they call the coup / revolution, insurrection rather, in Ukraine that killed up to 100 people, they call it the revolution of dignity. So, the, sloppy MAGA, circle jerk party in January 6th was like an insurrection because a couple people died. I think mostly it was like Trump supporters getting killed, or some police had like a heart attack. There was the only actual shooting was a cop killing a MAGA person, but that's an insurrection, right? That's sloppy, follow the vaccine salesman to the Capitol Day. That's a massive insurrection. But when 100 people die and literally the government gets overturned in Ukraine, that's a revolution of dignity. You get it? So now you have in 2014 a Ukrainian government that has probably been, I would say, taken over by pro-Western people. Then you have Lindsey Graham and all these neocons in both parties flying to Ukraine after the revolution revolution of dignity. Now they're flying over there declaring war on Russia for 8 years. Then Russia does something, and now we got to give $100 billion to the actor producer out of Ukraine who psyoped himself into office. Well, what about the next election? I wonder how that's going to go. Oh wait, I think he banned like 11 political parties or something. The opposition parties banned. So there's not even going to be a fair election. The next election in Russia is going to be more fair than the next election in Ukraine because he just banned all the political parties that could beat him in Ukraine. And then he started banning churches. Well, he started banning churches. I wonder why. Why would he ban churches and other political parties? I don't know. Why are they attacking Christianity? Must be Judeo-Christianity or something, and he's putting the other part in front of it and just doing what they do. And now a Christian country is turning into a Judeo-Christian country, an American liberal world order where they'll replace churches with rainbow flags. And neocons in the Republican Party will say, "Yeah, this is it, Christian. This is what you want. You need to completely subvert a Christian country and attack one of the only strong Christian countries left that's actually building churches and destroy them and take the leader out and replace it with some feminist woman who's going to shut down churches too and, replace them with rainbow flags." Yeah, and the Ben Shapiros of the world are on Twitter today being like, "Oh yeah, I don't even remember what he said, but something along the lines of like, Zelensky's not wrong for doing this and America's not wrong. Ben, we know you serve a foreign country. We know you serve a foreign country, Ben. That's why when you say it, you cry hate speech." Ben says, "Facts don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. There's no such thing as hate speech." And then you say, "Ben, you're working for a foreign country. Oh my God, it's anti-Semitism. Oh my God." You're not working for America, Ben. You're the biggest scammer con artist in the world. Every time you just lure a bunch of weak Christians and conservatives in who are brainwashed by your little skeezy vaccine salesman, car salesman, lawyer shtick where you're just mumbling through your teeth like I'm not even going to say, but in general. And then as soon as you get everybody's favor and attention and you control all the, oh yeah, Zelensky's a good guy, and oh my God, America, this is so good for us. Let's give all our money to Ukraine and Israel. I mean, you're not a true patriot if you don't give all your money to Ukraine and Israel. I mean, they need your money. Just give them your money. It's like, Ben, you're a scammer. So annoying. Oh, but I'm a bad person for noticing, right? I just gotta let them suck the money out of our country, just suck us dry. The banks are just crap. Interest rates rising, everything's going up. But yeah, we need Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and Ben Weasel Pirro to just sit there and tell us that this is what America needs. Just let this actor producer, who, by the way, in my opinion, if you're wondering, on my network or my show, I don't think he's good for Ukraine. I'm not pro-Ukraine or I'm not pro-Russia. I don't dislike, to be honest, I don't dislike any country in the world. I don't dislike Iran. I don't dislike Israelis. Like people want me to hate. You have to hate Iran. You have to hate Israel. You have to hate Palestine. I love everybody. I'm not like, I don't like everybody. Like every politician's not my best friend, but I don't look at any country and just hate them. It's like every country's got good people in it. I believe in the people of the world. So whether it's Palestine, Israel, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, I'm not playing favorites with either of these countries. I'm American. I serve my country. I'll have my opinion about which country's right or wrong. But when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, I like both of them. And I don't see it as, oh, Putin is this evil villain who's just killing everybody and Zelensky is this innocent hero. I think that's not true at all. And I'm not saying Putin's a hero and I'm not saying Zelensky's a villain, but I do think out of the two of them, I don't think Zelensky's serving Ukraine. I think Zelensky's serving Ukraine as much as Joe Biden's serving America or Ben Shapiro serving Christians. I think they're not. I think he's sacrificing his own country. I think he's destroying relations with the country next to him that they've had a close thing. And after that revolution/coup, it's just gotten worse, and worse. And the first 5 years, there was nothing done by Zelensky or his predecessors before them to ease the tensions. They sold their country out to the West. I get it. We got a lot of money and power, but I don't see it as like, oh, if Zelensky wins the war, he's going to save Ukraine from. I don't see it that way. He's getting his own people killed. He's destroying the whole world. He's bringing the whole world down with this proxy war. Gas prices are getting astronomical. That is partially because of the war. They're destroying the economy even further than COVID. And when it's all said and done, for what? They got to strike a deal. There's only two options. Either you strike a deal and stop fighting, or you keep fighting. But if you say we need to strike a deal, they freak out. Like, okay, if you want that territory, then you could fight for it on our money, I guess, forever and kill tens of thousands of your own people. But I don't think he's helping Ukrainians personally. I think he's the Joe Biden of Ukraine. If you think Joe Biden is helping Americans and Joe Biden's securing the border, then yeah, Zelensky's securing Ukraine just about as well as Joe Biden's securing. I don't think he's a good leader even for Ukraine. As somebody that doesn't hate Ukrainians, Ukrainians have the right to want our money. Ukrainians have the right to fight that war. You know, Russians have the right to love their country and fight for their own. And I have the right to not want to fund this bullshit personally. And I'm not going to be told I'm pro-Putin propaganda or I hate Ukraine. I love Ukrainians. I don't want to sacrifice their country. And I don't think Russia would be better off with the liberal gay world order invading. Like, Russia's one of the only in Europe. They're one of the only country that people aren't like pathetic and weak and totally caving. It's one of the only Christian countries really left that actually has Christianity somewhat. Even the Muslims in Russia are tough and they're not completely caved, like Dagestan. And, you know, there's a lot of great stuff coming out of the Muslim areas of Russia too. It's fine. It's not my country. It's not like I want to move there, but we're in no moral position to tell Russia what to do. And as far as Ukraine, I mean, they could do what they want, but I don't have to be a part of it and I don't have to want it. Europe is falling apart. America's falling apart. And I personally don't think it's a coincidence. I believe a lot of things after I've researched a lot. It's not to blame everybody, but I believe that the people that want a sort of global communist system, they say it all the time, but then if you say it, it's a conspiracy theory. They'll be like liberal world order, new world order, liberal world order, new world order. Pompeo says liberal world order. Biden says liberal world order. But if I say that they're saying it, apparently that's a conspiracy theory, but they just keep saying it. They're trying to build a one world system of some sort where everybody has to be the same. And I want to make this point clear because I know I'm going to get construed as hating these people or hating these people. At this point, I don't care. I've heard it all. But in general, I believe in real diversity. Real diversity. I love all cultures and I love all people to some extent. Everybody's not my favorite, but I'm not one of these people that's like, yeah, I love America. I'm American. I love Christianity. But I don't look at India and say, screw India or screw Germany. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way about Ukraine, Russia, Israel. I think everybody has the right to try their culture and do their thing. And everybody has cool food and music and people. And I don't look at anybody like, oh, I'm so much better than you. You're so terrible. With that being said, the only way to really preserve diversity would be to preserve individual sovereignty. Like if Russia turns into Ukraine, turns into Israel, turns into America, turns into San Francisco, how is that diversity? How is that diversity if Vladimir Putin turns into Joe Biden? How is that diversity if France turns into Africa? How is that diversity if America turns into a third world country and there's not a single place that actually has its own culture? How is that diversity? And I'll tell you what, the big secret is that this is only going on mostly in America and Europe. Like we're being brainwashed by the media of individuals and liberals that this is like so normal everywhere in the world and everyone's doing it. It's not everyone. It's just Europe and America and probably a few other places. If you look at China, they're not diversifying. If you look at Asia, they're not in a rush to diversify. They freak out over they'll get 20 migrants and South Koreans will be out in the streets protesting. They don't even want 10 migrants. Guys, we got 2 million people coming every year across the border, 1.2 million or whatever, millions of people. And we're bad if we disagree with it. Meanwhile, most of the world, most of the Islamic world, Dubai is coming up, Saudi Arabia is coming up. They got money. They're starting to take over Las Vegas type entertainment. It's way safer. The Muslims don't play with like petty crime in these cities. So the point that I'm getting to is this idea of like, oh, diversity. First of all, it's not even really diverse because if everyone just turns into a San Francisco blob of liberalism, there is no diversity. Texas and San Francisco are supposed to be different. They're not supposed to turn into Texas. And also, everyone's not doing this. It's only the countries that the liberal world order, whatever they want to call themselves, hate. And in my opinion, there's a reason why they're picking so hard on Europe and America. First of all, I believe, just like they're always telling people on tele, and I'm not saying you have to hate somebody or anything, but they want you to go after the people who are going to stop them the most. And for decades in this country, I believe they've brainwashed Christians into wanting to fight Muslims. And I'm not saying you're a Muslim, and I'm not saying Muslims have to love Christians. You could feel how you feel. I'm not telling you you have to be them or anything, but why did they make Christians feel like they needed to stop Muslims? Because if you go to Islamic countries, they reject liberalism. They're the only ones. Christians don't even do it anymore. Christians are like weak and pathetic. Muslims don't allow it. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, I'm not saying they're perfect, but they don't allow that stuff. So that's why the media who's pushing that stuff is trying to brainwash Christian conservatives into fighting the conservatives in the Middle East, because those are the two groups of people that reject what they're pushing to the world. So they're trying to get you to fight the only people that'll stop it. I feel the same way about Russia. I'm not Russian. I don't care for them. Like, if I watch the Olympics, they're not even a top 10 team I root for. No offense, Russians. It's just true. It's not in my blood. I'm not like a Russian guy, but they're one of the strongest European countries. They're one of the most Christian countries. And I don't think it's a coincidence. After 20 years of a war on terror, all of a sudden the media is telling people to hate Russia. They're trying to crush anybody that embraces nationalism, some sort of identity of sovereignty outside of the liberal world order, which is dual party. They're trying to crush anybody with any sort of ounce of Islam or Christianity that actually rejects these immoral and, I would say, like, far left values of fake diversity and just total government takeover. And they're weaponizing any group they can against each other. So when it comes to Europe and America, I don't think it's like random that they're doing this. I think they see certain people as a threat. And I'll say it in a few different ways. The first way is going to be politically correct. The second one's not. So enjoy it while it lasts. The politically correct reason I think they're doing this is because if you look at voting patterns in this country, you could see which group doesn't vote for bigger government. There's two groups, really, racially and religiously, that don't vote for bigger government. And it's just statistics. Like, Christians tend to vote conservative. And I'm not even saying the Republican Party is right, but they tend to understand, keep the First Amendment, keep the Second Amendment, don't allow this sort of stuff. And also, the white demographic votes a majority conservative. And if they can lower that, they'll win elections. Oh, that's a conspiracy. They admit it all the time. I'm not saying one people are better than the other. I'm just saying statistically, that's true, in this country. So I think in Europe, the politically correct, if you can believe, reason that they're doing this is they see certain things as a threat. Christianity and these sort of conservative ideologies. And if they could completely flip it, I think it's easier for them to control stuff. On a less politically correct reason, we all have heard our whole lives that racism exists and certain people think they're better than others. And to some extent, I do think that there are people out there that think they're better than you because of who they are or what race or religion, all this sort of stuff. I understand that. But I think the people that are really running the show really don't like Europeans and Americans. I'm just going to say it. Just like you can be like, well, you hate them. There are exaggerations of that. Obviously, it's been misconstrued and abused and exaggerated, and everybody calls everything racist, and I don't even use that word anymore. But there are people out there, this is why they say you can't say it. They'll be like, oh, that's racist to even say it. So for some races, you're allowed to call everything racist, even if it's not. But for other races, people can just beat down on you. But if you even notice they're doing it, that's racist. So like the whole world just has to work against you and you just can't even notice it. Doesn't that seem a little odd? Maybe there's a group of people that really hates Europeans and Americans for some reason. I mean, why? I wonder why. I mean, I know because I've done a lot of research, but that's not fair, just like it's not fair to hate Indians or Asians just for being Indian or Asian. So, this idea, they're turning European countries against each other. They're absolutely destroying Europe. I mean, England's a joke. Germany is like a complete nothing. Like they can't even, their energy problems, prices are soaring even worse in Europe right now. But our main focus, how come none of our politicians actually care about us in America or Europe? Even in some of these other countries, I understand it's not great, but it's like, why are they so not concerned with the fact that food prices have like times 10? Why are they so not concerned with the fact that, gas prices are up? I mean, say what you want, but most people, whether you're black, white, European, whatever, does this not affect you? Does anybody want to be broke or, not like in debt. So why does no politician seem to even care about that? Isn't that a little odd? Maybe there's certain people that really don't like us, because even in other countries that they might have corrupt government, they actually like their own people. Like, why wouldn't you, if you're the mayor of a town, why wouldn't you like the people in your town? If you're the, governor of California, shouldn't you like the people of California and prioritize them? If you're the governor of Texas, shouldn't you like the people of Texas? And if you're a politician in America, shouldn't you like America and Americans? If not, why are you even here? So, something bigger and deeper is going on that's far beyond Ukraine or Russia. And it's like the media and the people controlling our politicians are dead set on destroying our country and Europe, I believe, and other countries as well. But mostly that, like, there's no excuse. Like Elon said, why won't most media, besides like Fox, why won't most media cover the border? He's like confused, like, how long? Why? I don't get it. Like, there's millions of people coming across. That's not good. It has nothing to do with race. It's just not smart for any country, because they're trying to destroy us. And the second you realize that they're trying to destroy you, they start hating you. And the second that you start really honing in on why they're trying to destroy your country, then they start hating you more, calling you more names. And then when you really research more and figure out like the basis of why they even feel that way to do that, then they really freak out, because then you're getting too close for home. So at the end of the day, people got to wake up here. I mean, it's like, do your thing, work hard. But I think Americans have gotten lazy. I think Europeans absolutely have gotten lazy. I'm not playing the victim. I don't feel oppressed or anything. It's just like, wake up. In general, life will pass you by if you let it pass you by. And, if there's a void in this country or somewhere, you fill the void, become the change you want to see in the world. And if enough Americans and Europeans and everyone did that, you start to see a change. But right now, you got one side playing for keeps, Republicans just putting on a show. And I think a lot of people are, just like, whatever. But I don't know. I hope, I want the stocks to go back up. I want this country, but I don't, like, how much longer can they just print $2 trillion? Like, I don't understand, like, how it's even possible. Like, but if you look at the stocks are going down. Interest rates are going up. It's not like it's not affecting us. It's like, how much longer can they do this? I pray. So now for solutions, since I complained, I pray that the people of America stop fighting for 2 seconds. Like, the left wing just hates the right wing. The right wing just hates the left wing. They're about to print $2 trillion. Like, they got to stop. Where is this money going? I think one of them said literal gender equality in Pakistan. And Republicans are voting for this. Gender equality in Pakistan? What does that even mean? Like, imagine if my house was falling apart and I'm giving $20,000 to another house to study gender. Like, wouldn't you make fun of me? Be like, bro, you're in no position. Look at San Francisco. The city's falling apart. It looks like a zombie horror movie. I lived in Los Angeles for 7 years, 8, 10 years. I don't know. I'm getting so old. I'm losing track of time. Los Angeles is like a horror movie. I lived there and I just thought it was normal. I'm not soft. It builds character. You learn a lot when you're in the city. You hustle, but it's like it's getting very odd and very weird. So weird that when you leave it, you're like, I can't even believe that everyone there just thinks it's normal. Because once you're there for so long, you don't even know anything else. You're like, oh, this is getting bad. It's getting bad, but like, this is it's not normal. The homelessness in Los Angeles and the zombies they have walking around the street, it's insane. And Gavin Newsom and Eric, they never talk about it. Everything's about Ukraine. Everything's about COVID. Like, what the hell is going on in our country? I pray people come to their senses, because I don't know how much longer this can even go on. So solution wise, if everybody could stop fighting for like a week and just come to terms with the fact, whether you hate Donald Trump or love Donald Trump or you hate left wing, I don't care about left wingers anymore. Like, yes, they're wrong about almost everything, but like, I don't want to fight with somebody on Twitter when Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell are hanging out and selling out our country. I don't care about, oh, I don't like your opinion anomaly. Good, stay in San Francisco then. Live around poop, okay? I don't care. Like, you think I care that people don't agree? I don't agree with you. I look where they live, Los Angeles. Where do the San Francisco? I don't agree with you. Of course you don't. That's why your city's falling apart. So stay in the falling apart city, and we could tweet about how we disagree, but just you live there, and I'll live my life, and you can see what happens when you think that way. you live in a place where there's poop everywhere because nobody's smart or tough enough to clean it and solve it. It's actually really simple to solve this stuff. It's just no one even cares. They're just stealing our money. So I don't want to have these like baseless fights. I'm more interested in challenging the right, because what's the point of even winning a election if we're still going to print trillions of dollars and our half of our party is funding gender equality in Pakistan? Like, the amount of people signing that omnibus bill, are they getting paid? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out as we go. Like, why would Tommy Tuberville sign an omnibus bill that's God knows where that money's going? Like, what do they hold him for ransom or something? Give him kickbacks? Like, tell him he's not going to be able to hang out in Washington? Does he actually think that's the right thing to do? Like, there should never be a bill that's passed. It's 5,000 pages, 4,000 pages. Like, this is why they let you fight, in my view. That's why they don't care if you like Trump or hate Trump. That's it. That's convenient. Trump's like a lightning rod. Like, okay, you guys hate Trump, you guys like Trump, you guys fight, and we're going to sign this omnibus bill, and he's going to sign it, and Biden's going to sign it, Obama's going to sign it, and yeah, just keep fighting. Like, Proud Boys, Antifa, yeah, that's good. Like, listen, I don't care if you're a Proud Boy or Antifa. It's like, I don't, just don't be violent, don't hurt people. But in general, it's like, I don't care whether you agree with me or disagree. I don't care. They want you to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's the most love. It's not a banker battle, battle of the banker. This is a battle of average people, left wing and right wing, that are pissed off, that are taking their, attitude out on somebody in the streets. Like, you think the Proud Boys or Antifa run? Like, I mean, this is like low level proxy. It's a low level proxy war as bankers, Republicans, and Democrats sit in Washington and like laugh hysterically. Like, dude, these people just keep fighting each other. They keep fighting on Twitter. They love Trump and they hate Trump, but they don't realize that we're going to pass this anyway. I wish people could come to their senses for like 2 weeks and be like, all right, let's stop fighting for. But I guess people are so confused that they don't even share the values. Like, do Democrats even care that they're printing all this money? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and Democrats just like love it. They're like, yeah, we need to sell our country out and print trillions of dollars. Like, this is not normal. And the reason I'm saying this, I'm not trying to just be a complainer. I'm trying to move the Overton window back to the center, because the Overton window is so far gone that even when a Republican comes around, they're still playing in this arena. And I'll be like, yo, this is still socialism. It's to like an extreme corporate. No, it's not. This is conservative. It's not conservatism. If you're printing trillions of dollars, if Donald Trump's giving $20 billion to Big Pharma, if he's buying it, that's called Operation Warp Speed, a socialist communist thing. That's not capitalism. It's all government funded. They own part of the patents. It's all a scheme. It's a scammy scheme. And that's what the Republicans offer. Nothing. They're going to sign every omnibus bill. Trump signed the omnibus bill, said he never would again, and signed it again. I'm not saying it's all his fault. I'm just saying liking him or hating him is not going to solve the problem. That's all I'm trying to say. And Republicans are playing in this like socialist communist arena. So even when they win, they're still doing like big government tyranny. Like, yeah, we won. We only printed $6 trillion instead of $8 trillion. Like, that's not winning. So, obviously I have big goals or something. I know I can't like do this. I want my way. I'm going to snap my fingers. I understand I'm not going to get my way on this, but can people realize, like, can we come to some sort of agreement and be like, can we stop sending $5,000 bills and signing them every year? Can we at least stop that? Can we get them to do a 10-page bill or a 40-page bill? Because if not, I'm done fighting. There's no point. There's no, it's like there's no point in pointing out things on the left and right if we can't even come to the minor agreement of like, stop sending hundreds of millions of dollars overseas, stop printing trillions of dollars for COVID, stop giving Big Pharma a bunch of government money, stop, printing the omnibus bill. If we can't even come to this agreement, there's literally even no point. So I hope that enough people will come around. I mean, we'll see what happens, but that it's just crazy. And I'm sure Zelensky just wants a piece of that pie. I don't know exactly why else he would come right when they're signing one of the most expensive omnibus bills of our time, but that's probably why, to get some money. Let me know what you guys think. I didn't want to click on the chats because I just don't want, I guess I just did it now, but I don't want my video to freeze. Someone said Jesus was an unemployed homeless grifter. Believe in yourself. Well, I think that's a little bit blasphemous and definitely like not a nice way to describe Jesus. But I get what you're saying. I don't know how to describe him as a grifter, but uh, kind of funny, but mostly blasphemous, mostly haram. But someone said, "Oh, I like your caveman." I don't know what you're saying. Someone said, "Don't be done fighting." Well, the thing is, I'm not. It's just like fighting the other. This is the point that I'm trying to get. And I'm gonna leave. Fighting the other side doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, I'm done battling for my country. It's like I'm not, but I'm trying to point out things that aren't so obvious because there's something going on where the people of this country don't like our country. It's a problem. And the Republicans are half in, half out. Even the best, some of the best, I would say the one of the most ethical Republicans is probably Thomas Massey. Follow him. He's the real deal. Everyone else is like, they're half in, half out, where it's like, yeah, I'm pro America, but I'm going to pass a speech law for a foreign country. Like, why? Why are you doing it? Because they're getting paid. And I'm tired. I mean, I don't really care, but it's like people always think I'm being hateful or something. They're getting paid. It's all money. And the best deceiver is the one who makes you think that they're bigger than that. Like, I'll be different. Okay, prove it. You had 4 years. You weren't different. All right, next. You weren't different. Oh, but he's not different. He got $100 million from a donor too. $1 million from Pfizer. Like, he's just pretending to be different. He proved he's not different, and we're still caught on it. We'll see. But in general, I think things are happening quickly with illegal immigration, with the money printing. Like, it's going to take, 2023 is the year of the bold. I think Ye went scorched earth. To some extent, Matt Walsh went scorched earth on his agenda and what he wants to do. I'm not saying you have to do that or I want to do that, but it's like I've played nice for a few years and I'm a nice person. I'm still nice, but like I'm not going to sit and watch the Ben Shapiros and the Pragers and even the Trumps like sell vaccines and lie and say, oh, I'm conservative, but I want to give money to foreign countries all the time. I know you do because I think you work for them. That's why you say it's hate speech because I don't think you serve America. Ben, oh, I'm not allowed to say that? Oh, well, debate me on it. You don't want to debate? You just want to cry hate speech? Of course you do because that's your little lie. You say there is no such thing as hate speech. Facts don't care about your feelings. But when the facts point out that you're not really who you say you are, you cry hate speech and run to the ADL. We know what you're doing, Ben. And I'm not blaming Ben Shapiro, but it's like, of course he chimes in today and says, Zelensky's not wrong and Americans not wrong. Yeah, because that's your place, Ben. Your place is to just take up space in the conservative movement, talk like a smarmy little lawyer, and then deceive Christians and conservatives in America into thinking you're the real deal. And then whenever time comes, be like, I'm Ben Shapiro, and I'm an authority, and we should send $100 million to Ukraine. I mean, it's really good for Ukraine and America. It's like, dude, shut up. I'm so tired of these people. So that's my energy. That's my energy in 2023. It's like, I'm not just going to call out the left and call out Nancy Pelosi. It's like I want a conversation from people on our side because these omnibus bills and foreign wars, like they're never going to stop with the current leadership. Someone said, cut your hair and go to the gym. I mean, cutting my hair, that's on me. But going to the gym, I'm 6'3", 200 pounds, bro. So, I might not look very big right here, but I'm a big boy. So I go to the gym enough. But I will go to the gym also. I'll take it as like a motivation because anytime someone tells me to go to the gym, I do like the gym. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm sorry for being a little bit annoyed today, but, dude, nothing is crazier than watching your country give $100 billion to another country while their countrymen and their officials, government officials, are taking away your flag. I mean, that's disgusting. Imagine if we're just sucking $100 million out of Ukraine and I just take away. Do you want me to take away the Ukrainian flag and just turn it into an American flag? I mean, that's disgusting. Some of us, not all of us, but some of us still like our country. I know Argentina loves the Argentinian flag. They love Messi. You know what I'm saying? Israel likes the Israeli flag. There's nothing wrong with that. Ukraine, God knows they like the Ukrainian flag. We have a flag too. We have a country, okay? You don't own I know you think you do because you keep sucking our country dry. God bless you in your fight against Russia, but we have a flag too. We have a country too. That really set me off. I mean, it's bad enough seeing all these puppets and losers just flying another flag in Congress, but to see a foreign government official just literally erase the United States of American flag with yellow and their symbols and turn our flag into their flag, that's disrespectful, disgraceful, disgusting. And I wouldn't do that, not to my greatest ally or greatest enemy. I wouldn't do that to any country I like or dislike like that. I would never erase their flag with my flag. I mean, that's an evil, disgusting thing to do. So hopefully the Republican Party wakes up. And that's why, real quick, I don't want to ramble too much, but too late. I already have. Like, yes, the left is bad. Yes, the left is corrupt. Yes, the left is worse. Yes, the Democrats have gone insane. Yes, the right does more. But really, our battle in the Republican Party, in my view, there's two battles that are more important with fighting and making fun of liberals all day. This is why I don't do it that much. I disagree with liberals more than conservatives. But our two biggest battles moving forward is, one, we need to convince people that we're right. And how do you do that? By being honest, by having conviction. You know, there's a lot of just talking heads on the right that are just like repellents because nobody likes them because they're just not likable. I don't even like them, and I agree with half of what they say. So we need to remember our fight and our battle is not to just make fun of kids that have blue hair. I'm not saying you have to agree with what they're doing in the schools, but we need to convince people we're right, because if we don't convince people that we are the right side, then how in the world are we ever going to win? You know what I'm saying? We can't just fight with these people. We have to be convincing. And you do that through authenticity, honesty, integrity, and realizing that your party's not right. Like, you know, you gain more sympathy from the left when you don't just like, oh, we're so great. We're not great. You know, I got people that are further left than like socialists that watch my channel, even though they like semi-hate me, but they like me because they know that I don't even like the right wing. They're like, oh, we have that in common. And Amelie doesn't even like them. It's like, yeah, why would you? It's not like we're so great. We're not great, you know? And you gain more understanding from the other side when you're willing to call out your own. But in general, one of our battles is gaining more support and convincing people that we're right. And then the second thing is reframing our party. There's a huge battle in the House right now, Kevin McCarthy versus, you know, and like Trump's behind Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell's behind McCarthy and Marjorie Taylor Greene's behind McCarthy, but Lauren Boebert's not, Matt Gaetz is not, you know, DC Drano's not. I'm not going to say there's a civil war because that's exaggerating, but there's an internal civil war in the Republican Party with like the Trump, the McConnells, and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the others. And then these new people that are like, Kevin McCarthy's not the guy, but they're like, but he is the guy. He's young. And I don't even know what the right side of it is. I like some people on both sides, but you know, we need to focus on our own party because they're in on it. Our Senate's in on it. Our House is in on it. McCarthy's in on it. Whether he becomes a speaker or not, that's past my, you know, understanding / influence. So I don't even know enough to even make a decision. Besides, I know McCarthy's a phony. But in general, it's like, that's our job. Like, we can't just sit here and make fun of the left all the time. That's a trap because our House, our Senate, our last president, they were all in on it too. I'm not saying they're the worst. I'm not saying they're not worth voting for, but we need to internally, you know, change ourselves because just battling the left isn't going to do it when our own people are selling us out. So that's why I'm more focused on, you know, talking trash to my own side, not to be a jerk, but it's like this, I consider this my team. It's not like my favorite thing, but I'm a registered Republican. Like, I vote for that party. That's the better party that shares my interests. But the Republican Party is drifting further and further and further away from my interests. And I don't know that they ever even had my interests. It's not like I'm a lifelong Republican. Like, they've always been on my side. I don't think they've ever been on my side. I mean, George Bush was a phony, you know, at what, maybe like 50 years ago, Republicans were good. Maybe, probably not. But I'm not like, oh, that, but the left, I would say they have nothing for me. They're not even interested in, like, their worldviews are almost the opposite at this point. And by the way, for the liberals watching, the left is not even for your values. What they put a rainbow flag on a Boeing, you know, weapons jet and like fly it over a country and bomb Yemen or something. Like, the Democratic Party, at least the Republicans will be like, yeah, we're fighting them. The Democrats are like, it's like, dude, the Democrats don't even stand up for liberal values anymore. They're doing nothing but just lying. So hopefully more people can realize, even if you want certain left-wing changes, you're better off getting them through the right side, because there is actually some sort of populist movement brewing on the right side, you know, with people that will probably see eye to eye with you more than your average establishment Democrat. So we got a lot of work to do on that side if we're going to have any sort of results. But God bless you. Someone said America needs Jesus badly. I hear you. Merry Christmas. And I'll be back with a lot of posts and less videos, but I will have some soon. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. And, I still love the American flag, and we are not replacing it with the Ukraine flag. God bless Ukraine. God bless Russia. God bless America. Like, we got to keep our flag separate and stop taking away my flag. That's not cool.